Hey there, backpackers. We are back on Unpacking the Backpack. And like many times, I am on location in a hotel with my earbuds in. So, if the quality of the sound is not to your liking, I apologize. But hopefully, the content and concepts in this episode will overcome for any shortcomings of the audio. Today we're going to talk about the engine of change, why self-efficacy is the make or break in education. So we're going to dig in not only to the backpack, but the battery pack of the education system. You know, think about the last time your school or your district or organization introduced a big change. Maybe it was a new literacy framework, a shift to restorative justice, or a massive overhaul of your data tracking. Now, think about why some people hit the ground running while others, equally talented people, hit a wall of paralysis. The difference isn't usually skill, it's self efficacy. In the 1970s, psychologist Albert Bandura defined self-efficacy as one's belief in their abilities to succeed in specific situations. In education, it's a difference between saying, I have a degree in math, and I have what it takes to make this struggling student understand algebra. You know, I want to look at why self-efficacy is the secret sauce for both the teacher and the school or district leader. If we don't have it, the best professional learning in the world is just noise. Before we talk about results, we have to talk about four important pillars. Bandura argued that self-efficacy doesn't just fall out of the sky. It's built on four things. Number one, mastery experiences. You did the thing and it worked. Number two, vicarious experiences. You saw someone like you do the thing and it worked. Number three, social persuasion. Someone you trust told you that you have the tools to do the thing. And number four, emotional and physiological states. How do you feel stressed versus energized when you think about the task? For teachers, this is about the belief that their instruction actually impacts student outcomes. For leaders, it's about collective teacher efficacy, the shared belief that staff as a whole can overcome any barrier. According to John Hattie's research, collective teacher efficacy has an effect size of 1.57. To put that in perspective, that's double the effect of socioeconomic status. Belief isn't just a feeling, it's a data point. So let me talk to teachers for a second, if you're listening. We've all been there. You're sitting in a PD session, looking at a new initiative, and you think, great, another thing that won't work for my kids. Low self-efficacy leads to learned helplessness. When we don't believe our actions will change the outcome, we stop taking risks. We stick to the old worksheets. We close our doors. Here's the shift. Self-efficacy is the bridge between knowing and doing. Results follow risk. If you don't believe you can manage a new technology, you won't use it. If you don't use it, you'll never get the results. Now put any challenge there in the blank and think about the results you'll get from following the risk. Resilience. High efficacy teachers don't see a failed lesson as a personal failure. They see it as a puzzle to solve. If you are a teacher listening to this, your backpack needs more mastery experiences. Stop trying to overhaul your entire curriculum in a day. Pick one small strategy, one micro win. When that works, your brain gets a hit of dopamine and a boost in efficacy. That's how you build the stamina for change. It's the small shifts to practice done consistently that lead to change. And now I want to pivot to leaders. Principals, APs, superintendents, district office, department heads, this is on you. You cannot mandate self-efficacy, but you can certainly kill it. When leaders dump 50 new initiatives on a staff without providing those 4 pillars, they aren't just causing burnout. They are actively lowering the school's efficacy. So, how can you go about building collective efficacy? Number 1, stop the hero narrative. Don't just highlight the one superstar teacher. That creates a gap. Highlight the process of a team working together. Number 2, provide models, those vicarious experiences. If you want your staff to adopt a new grading policy, don't show them a video of a school in a different state with a different budget. Show them the teacher down the hall who's making it work. Number 3, feedback that feeds. Social persuasion isn't just saying good job. It's specific, evidence-based feedback that points to a teacher's strengths while using questioning to help them realize their opportunities for growth. Leadership is about creating an environment where teachers and other administrators feel safe enough to fail. If the stakes are too high, efficacy drops. If the support is too low, efficacy drops. You are the thermostat, not the thermometer. You don't just record the temperature of the building, you set it. Here is the bottom line. When self-efficacy is high, change stops being a threat and starts being an opportunity. When a teacher believes they can reach a difficult student, they try more strategies. They stay in the game longer. When a leader believes their staff is capable, they delegate more and micromanage less. The results we might want: higher test scores, better behavior, emotional well-being. These are the byproducts of a high efficacy environment. You can't get the fruit without the roots. As we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you the question and then some more of my thoughts. So there's one question, whether you're in a classroom or an office. What is one thing you did this week that proved you are capable of handling change, and why? Write it down. That is a mastery experience. Put it in your backpack. And as we're talking about self-efficacy, I think it's very important to understand the power and the value of the mirror. When you look in that mirror, do you see someone who's open to change, who's open to feedback? Do you see someone that has the evidence to support the talk? As the saying goes, we got to talk the talk, but also walk the walk. That mirror and the reflection you see is important. But what do other people see. You want people to see the same thing that you see in that mirror. You want to see someone who believes in the power of self-efficacy. You hold yourself accountable. You model the way. You take calculated risks. You focus on those small shifts done consistently to improve your practice. And I think that, self-efficacy is hard, everybody. It's hard because we all have our lens of bias. And our lens of bias sometimes makes us think we are doing the thing, and we are doing the thing well or effectively. But here is the rub. Do our actions line up with our thoughts? We don't want opinions. We want facts. We want evidence to back up our work. And that is why efficacy, self-efficacy is so important. So whether you're a teacher, a coach, a librarian, assistant principal, supervisor, principal, superintendent, assistant superintendent, board member, does not matter. We need to expect more of ourselves and raise the individual bar first before we set those expectations for others. If you found value in today's episode, I hope you'll share it with a colleague who might be feeling a bit efficacy drained. There's a lot of, a feeling of being overworked, lack of appreciation. Let's build each other up. Yes, we want to exhibit self-efficacy, but we can pay it forward. We can begin to lay the foundation for everyone that we work with to hold themselves up to a higher standard. Thank you again, as always, for being here on Unpacking the Backpack. And remember, the heaviest thing we carry, isn't the workload. It's the doubt. Let's unpack it. See you next time. And again, as always, thank you for the amazing work that you do for students across the world.